I will start with a roll call. Commissioner Prosis is not here. Commissioner Scooby?
Here.
I'm here. Commissioner Ashley? Here. Commissioner Hill is not here. Commissioner Foster?
Here.
Our student representative, Grant Nienhaus, is not here. And our council member, Barbara Arms, is?
Here.
She's here. Okay. All right. So we all have a copy of the agenda for today. Do I hear a motion to approve the agenda as submitted?
Move to approve the agenda. Second.
It's been moved and seconded that we approve the agenda. All those in favor, say yes. Yes. Very good. Okay. That brings us to the approval of the July 14th minutes of our commission meeting. I hope everybody's had an opportunity to review the minutes, check them for accuracy and inclusion. Do we have any comments on the minutes? Do we have a motion to approve the minutes as submitted?
I move to approve them.
Second. And moved and seconded to approve the minutes as submitted. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Okay. Very good. Now that brings us moving right along. Look at this, a minute and 25. All right. Okay, let's go to public comments. I see there are members of the public here today during this time. Any citizens who are here would like to make a comment on any items on the agenda or not on the agenda, please state your name and feel free. Anyone? Comments? Comments? No? Boy, that was easy too. No comments. Okay, so let's move right along to item 5. Let's see, the introduction of the new Assistant Harbor Master. Elise, over to you.
Thank you. Today we have Charlie Kurt with us. I'm going to let him introduce himself a little bit. And with that, Charlie.
So, yeah, hi, I'm Charlie. I come from Southeast Alaska, where I was most recently working. I've spent 22 years around fish hatcheries and floating structures there, and don't know what else I could really say. I've got a lot of family that's here in the area, so I was trying to relocate to be closer to them, and I'm very excited to be here and working with Elise and the rest of the crew at the Oak Harbor Marina, and I'm just happy to be here. So thank you.
Well, I got an opportunity to interview Charlie earlier. Charlie, tell us a little bit about the hatchery that you managed up there.
Well, I was working with several of them over the last number of years. Most recently, I was working with the Southern Southeast Regional Aquaculture Association. I was stationed at 2 of their facilities over the 7 years that I worked with that corporation, the Burnett Inlet Hatchery as well as the Neats Bay Hatchery. Each of those facilities was producing upwards of 100 million chum salmon, while the Neats Bay facility also produced about 3.2 million coho salmon annually. We had crews ranging from 4 to 12 at the Burnett Inlet Hatchery. It was 4 permanent staff members and 2 seasonals, as we would have to process through upwards of 100,000 adults to produce those 100 million eggs. That was a very fun facility. Both of these locations were off-grid, and it's kind of nice to be able to drive around and go somewhere. These locations have no road access. The only way you can get your groceries is by having them flown in via a charter plane. So it's a very unique lifestyle, but like I said, most of my family now live down in Washington and Oregon, so that hence the draw. But it's kind of fun to be able to see the whales playing off the dock, or bubble feeding orcas coming in, as well as the millions of salmon coming home for their annual life cycle. So.
Now, are these fish just raised for general release?
Yes, up there. There is no fish farming allowed. It's actually written into the Alaska Constitution that that's not something that the state is interested in propagating. So all the, I shouldn't say all, but most of the aquaculture corporations are engaged in ocean ranching, where we're only raising the fish for a very small portion of their lifespan. For chum salmon, it's somewhere on the order of about 90 days. For king coho or sockeye salmon, it's usually an 18-month program. These fish are then released into the wild. They are, for all intents and purposes, wild fish. They just had a hatchery origin rather than a natural origin. The propagation can be then relocated as they transition from freshwater species to saltwater, and then you can have what's called the terminal harvest area, where common property fishermen can come in, seiners, gill netters, and trollers, and catch every last fish. The nice thing is these programs are able to manage down to the last fish because there's generally very little amounts of hatchery and wild interactions. The region in Southeast Alaska especially has got a large number of habitats that are above the anadromous reach, meaning that their watersheds terminate in like a waterfall just before they go into the ocean. And so the salmon can't get up there naturally, and these locations like Neats Bay, Burnett Inlet, or the various ones that I was associated with, the Douglas Island pink and chum, had no fish naturally occurring. So everything that's in that bay at that time is a hatchery origin fish. This allows us to produce millions of dollars worth of revenue into the common property fleet, and the hatchery only needs to protect what little it needs for brood stock or cost recovery. A lot of those associations are not-for-profit, and their cost recovery makes up the largest amount of their revenue per year. So everybody's depending on those fish.
Thank you, Charlie, for being here. And I know that, we have our small little 30,000 fish that we raise every year, and I can see at least smiling knowing that she's got somebody that can actually know what they're doing. Not to say that we don't, but your experience is going to be greatly appreciated.
Thank you.
Okay, let's move right on. We're going to reappoint Grant as the student representative, but he's not here, so do we have to wait and do that next? He can be just reappointed, so I consider him reappointed?
You need to make a motion.
Oh, I need to make a motion. Do I hear a motion to approve Grant as the new student representative?
I'll move to approve.
Second?
It's been moved and seconded to reappoint Grant as the student representative. All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Okay, done.
Just in case you guys were wondering, Grant did give his blessing on that. It's not a voluntold kind of situation.
Okay, let's move on to the Marina Fund, the financials dated 1 August. Elise, oh, Brian's here. Hi, Brian.
So Dave Goldman put together the last 5 years for you guys is the first financial input you're seeing. And it's a basic asset liability, our net position. And this is originally what he thought the MAC was asking for. And then when I was informed that you guys wanted a little more detail, that's the follow-up with just the 2024 numbers.
Byron, do you have some comments on this?
Well, yeah. I have to say, I think that too much out of the balance sheet stuff have to say, I really didn't get too much out of the balance sheet stuff because some of these numbers have items in there that I really don't know what they are. And they're big numbers, but the thing that really interests me is the expenditure and expense report, or the revenue and expense report. And one, I was very pleased, and I don't quite know how we're doing it, but our revenues for moorage and storage sheds and that is up substantially over. Now, unfortunately, I know I've got it somewhere, but I couldn't find my report from 2023, which is the last one we saw. But I went back to 2022, and we're up about $400,000 in moorage revenue from 2022, which is really nice, and I'm not quite sure how we did that, except that I know we've had a rate increase in there. But anyway, that's good. The couple things that concern me, however, is, some of our expenses are fairly rapidly increasing, and one is our insurance costs, and we know we're having trouble with our insurance, and our deductibles are going up, but from 22, our insurance expenditures increased 45%. And the other one that bothered me some is our salaries, wages and benefits are up from 2022, as 2 years, they're up 22%. And, I don't know if we have more employees than we did in 2022. And I know, I think there was a union contract that changed there, was there not? Between 2022 and 20?
Let's see, the current contract is a 2-year that expires at the end of this year, so it
This
went
year?
into effect in 2023.
Okay, yeah,
And
yeah.
we did gain an additional seasonal each summer in that time frame as well.
Oh,
So we
okay.
went from 2 seasonals to 3.
Okay, all right.
And this 2025 year, you'll see an additional increase, but that's due to a part-time position that is year-round. So we are, is a full staff. We are harbor master, assistant harbor master, 3 maintenance, but one of those is part-time, and the marina operations specialist.
And how does that compare to what we had in 2022?
So in 2022, we were harbor master, 3 maintenance, and a marina operations specialist with 2 seasonals.
Okay,
Because the assistant harbor master position was not in effect in 2022.
okay. Okay. The other thing, again, I do this every year, but I checked our revenues and expenditures on the fuel, and again, it's just every year, we're making about 14% profit on our fuel sales. And to me, that's something we really have to look at, and well, I guess it's on the agenda later on, but we can talk about that then. But I think when we consider our salary costs for delivering the fuel, I think we're barely breaking even at that.
Elise, later on in the agenda, you have a fuel pricing discussion on here. Do you want to go through the fuel pricing at that time?
You guys are more than welcome to do it at this time. It's just been brought up in the last couple of meetings, and I would just like to have a little more direction on exactly where we're wanting to go, because if we're wanting to increase the amount we add in that fuel price calculator for our profit margin, we got to go back, and that's a master fee schedule change. So just keep that in mind.
Let's revisit that here later in the program. I have a question about, and Brian, Elise, you can answer this as well. Is the general obligation bond principle, has it been satisfied completely?
No, I think that matures at the end of the year.
At the end of the year?
This year, yes.
Okay. Yeah, I thought, well, maybe, I guess I was thinking about something else. Okay. Does anybody have any comments or questions or anything to add? Louis?
Yeah, so I appreciate the detail and all that, but I mean, we're in a very seasonal business, so month over month, year over year numbers tend to be kind of critical because we don't know where we're at now compared to where we might need to be at without that data.
I can add a little bit to that. I had asked, probably not officially, but I had asked for on the city administrator's report down at the bottom to compare month to month to give us an idea. It didn't show up in the August 25, so I did it myself compared to July. We can, I guess we can talk about that now. If you look at the, I'm going to skip ahead a little bit here, at least go to the city administrator's report. The Marina monthly revenue, if you look at the mortgage, it's $96,211 this month. In July, it was $88,593. So we did 8,000 more in mortgage, and in fact, it reflects the fact that our percent of occupied slips has gone up 9%. Also, the storage units and the fence line storage are effectively the same. But the guest mortgage is the real key. The guest in July's report, which reflected June's activity, we made $7,000 in guest mortgage. Well, the next month, we made almost $30,000 in guest mortgage. So we had an increase of over $23,000 in that period of time, which is pretty remarkable. And I imagine that when we see this next month, it's going to be very similar to July 1 through July 31st. I think August will be equally busy at the Marina. The ramp information, we went up from $1,000 in ramp fees to almost $7,000. So which was a pretty. I'm actually amazed every time I look at that number, and people actually pay for that. But it's pretty remarkable.
I will be honest, compliance over there is actually really easy for us. We don't have issues at this point. If they don't pay, they do get a letter in the mail. If they don't turn in an envelope at all and it's noted that they're in the lot, it includes a service fee and the postage. They decide not to pay that, it goes to collections. And people have heard that and know that that's what happens. So we've not seen anybody get up in arms about having to pay that $10 fee.
That's pretty remarkable. Go ahead, Byron, please.
Yeah, I did have a question. I noticed on our expense or our revenue report that we make almost nothing on commercial ramp. What's up with that? Because we are charging the crab fishermen and so forth.
Yes,
Yeah.
if they do use the ramp, they are charged. We really don't have a lot of commercial activity because that launch float is designated for recreation only. So they can use the ramp itself, but they cannot use the float,
So
which
they can-
decreases the amount of people wanting to use it commercially.
Okay, so they don't get charged if they just use the ramp?
They could pay a $15 a day or the $100 and I believe $50 for the annual pass.
But it looks like we're getting almost nothing for the commercial use. Let me see.
We have very few that actually use it commercially. Mariners Haven has an annual pass, and when crabbing season begins, those guys either would pay us the daily or annually. But we don't see most of those commercial individuals till October timeframe.
Okay.
And in the October timeframe, they do in fact use the ramp as well.
Yep.
Oh, there's Kathy.
Okay, but so here we've got the daily commercial, we've got revenues of $15. Yearly commercial, we've got 0 on the revenue report.
Possibly in 2024, something was missed, crossed, or put in the wrong blank, but I do know we have gone through this year and have made sure that anyone using the ramp commercially has either paid for an annual or is paying a daily rate at this point.
Okay.
Let me go back to this again for a second. I noticed in the August city administrator's report, there was no revenue lines for the gasoline and the diesel. But I can just talk to the amount of diesel and gasoline we pumped. In June, we pumped about almost 3,000 gallons of gasoline, and in July, we pumped over 9,000 gallons of gasoline, which was pretty remarkable, just gasoline. And in diesel, we pumped 14,000 gallons of diesel in June, and in July, we pumped 23,000 gallons of diesel, which is pretty remarkable. So, do you have a dollar figures on those?
That was my fault.
As I say, you guys had
that-
asked not to include
That was my
that,
fault, because
so.
I thought that was misleading, that we had the revenues
I
in there
remember
because
that.
we didn't,
I remember
we didn't have
Yeah.
the expenses
Well,
along with that, so.
Well, but we also have, we know that we pumped a lot more fuel in July than we did in August. I'd be curious, though, I bet you've got
But
it.
making no money off it.
You got it in your hip pocket, Elise, what are the numbers for that? I'm just kind of curious.
I could get them for you here shortly, but I
That-
don't have them in my hip pocket.
It's-
That report's quick and easy to run.
It's not important because Commissioner Scooby's got a point, and we need to talk about that. Okay, but, and in the future, Elise, could you just do what I did, just to show month over month? It really does help.
This is very useful.
Sure.
And if I could put in a plug, so we're doing month over month right there, which
Yeah.
is nice because we see that very short trend. But how does it compare to last year?
Yeah.
And yeah, and
You know,
that's
so
stuff.
if we had that
Year over
other
year.
column, then, it's a very good indicator of trend.
I agree, and I think, for me, it was helpful as an exercise to do this, to make sure, and I think Elise has those numbers fairly at her fingertips, so I think it'll work just fine. Okay, let's see, when we go back to, Elise, let's go back to item E, the city administrator's report, now that I've taken up this part of it.
So you will see mortgage occupancy was up. That is to be expected. July is always our busiest month. We had 11 additional occupied slips. The guest mortgage piece was anytime anybody said, oh, hey, I've got a 17-footer, do you have somewhere I can put it overnight? The answer was always yes. We found some hole somewhere to make sure to make that revenue, if at all possible. So DDOC for the 4th of July weekend alone had about 20 reservations on top of the people that are there for either month-to-month or annual mortgage.
Quick question on that is, the Bellingham Yacht Club is coming Friday.
Yes, they are.
I think they're bringing 15 boats.
Yes.
Do you have them all on FDOC?
Yes.
Okay.
Yep, they are all together, or they may have one larger boat that's along that G linear,
Okay.
but otherwise they are all together, and we are very thankful they are still coming. They were coming for Hydros for
Hydros.
Heroes and decided not to cancel when the event was canceled. We did reduce the mortgage rate back
We're
down to
hosting
normal
at the
guest
club.
mortgage and did not require a 3-night minimum, but again, we were still very thankful that they decided to still come and hang out with us.
Good. Well, good, thank you.
I don't really have anything additional to add. I think the report kind of sells itself. If you have any additional questions, I'm happy to answer them.
Yeah, am I reading this correctly? Are we actually down in occupied slips over this time last year? Is that? what this
Yes,
is?
we
Yeah,
are.
Yeah, okay.
I have a question that we can either get now or in your harbor master update. What happened with the stainless steel screws and the replacement of the cover over the power cables?
So with the power cable cover, and upon inspection this year, we just wanted to make sure that this was going to be something that wasn't going to fall apart when someone stood on it. The deck screws that we had used, that we used throughout the Marina and all other applications, had failed. So we have then transferred over to stainless steel, hoping to prevent that in the future. We were just repainting it just to ensure that it was visible. The stripes are going to go back on, and that's due to anyone with a disability can recognize the yellow and black striping. But yeah, it was just due to, no idea why they failed. Like I said, we use them throughout the Marina and various other projects. Never had this issue, but that particular application, they just didn't function the way they should.
Yeah, there were a lot of questions when people saw all those screws coming out and being replaced. Does anybody have any questions at this time about this city administrator's report? Hi, Kathy. Kathy joined us. Can you hear us? she's waving. She's in an aquarium, for those of you who can't see her. Yeah.
I'm really at work hard.
Oh, good for you. Good for you. Okay, let's move right along to the fuel pricing discussion. Go ahead, Elise.
I'm all ears on this one. I'm not sure what you guys are exactly looking for. I would like a direction from you.
Yeah, I don't think we've ever, at least recently, haven't seen how we actually calculate the pricing that we put on the pump or that we charge people, have we?
I'm almost positive it was included about 3 months ago, but I will be happy to re-include
Well, I
it.
wasn't here at that meeting, but I looked at the minutes and I couldn't
Okay.
see that. What, can you, off the top of your head, say how we're doing it? Is it a percentage above what the fuel
It's
delivery price is?
60 or 65 cents once we factor in all of the additional fees above what we pay for the fuel. I
Okay.
I can't remember if it's 60 or 65, but
Do you remember what all the fees are? I know we have a
Oh.
fixed cost of the price of the gallon of fuel.
let me pull my price calculator up and I can tell you all of those fees because they
Okay.
have changed
All right.
this year and some have increased this year as well.
Okay,
And as we got a new fuel contractor this year in April, we're also learning how to work with that fuel contractor and how their pricing is changed because we had the other fuel contractor, to my knowledge, as long as we were selling fuel at the marina. So this has been a big change for staff.
so did the entire city go on and change fuel
Yes.
contractors?
The prior contractor lost the state contract.
Was that reason?
I don't know. I know the lady's name that I always worked with, but unfortunately, like I said, we do not work with them at this point. It is a new one. And one person does the billing for this state contract and one person does the delivery. So we're working with two different people when it comes to fuel.
Do you have the pricing calculator available to you now?
I was gonna try to pull it up real quick.
Okay. While we're waiting, well, we can just take a break here for a minute.
Is there a specific fee you're wondering about? Because unfortunately, I can't get rid of any of those, nor make them lower.
No, I was just kind of curious. I know there's the price of the gallon of fuel.
Yep.
There's the, and that is inclusive of tax, correct?
Yes. But
Okay.
there's additional taxes.
Well, I understand
Yeah.
that. That's what I want to make, I want to write
Yeah.
it all down so I know exactly for sure.
Here.
Because I marvel every time I go and get fuel at our marina, I pay for the fuel and then they add sales tax to that, which,
So the price you see in DACWA is the price pre-tax, which is what you see on your receipt. The price at the pump is everything included.
but they keep it, they've been adding sales tax to that number. They, you know, the price on the pump, you'll.
They're not adding anything from the price on the pump, no.
Yeah, they are.
If I could see an example,
Yeah,
I would appreciate it.
I have one. Kathy was shocked when we went, we saw the price on the pump, we saw our volume discount,
Mm-hmm.
and then they added sales tax to that price, which shocked me. So, that's why I want to know
Okay.
all the fees that go into that.
So for gasoline, there is a federal excise gas fee of .1830000. The next two for gas.
That's per gallon.
Yes. The next two for gasoline are the federal oil spill and the super fund at .0062.
Okay,
There is a federal lust fee of .001 for gasoline, a Washington excise tax for gas of .554, a petroleum product tax at .005830,
now that's a big one.
a Washington hazard substance fee at .035238, And if I was just ordering gasoline,
right?
the tank wagon load fee is $585.
Okay,
I can do the same for diesel, and
Please.
these are just if I'm ordering one fuel type.
okay,
If I order both, that fuel load fee gets divided between the two.
Okay.
Typically, the diesel is gonna be higher, I think it's $354, and then the gasoline makes up that difference. But altogether, that load fee is always $585. For my best calculation and invoice coding, I have an email out to that company to verify that. Apparently, my last one went in their spam. So they are still getting me that answer as of today. I sent that email 2 weeks ago. On diesel, you have the Federal Oil Spill and Super Fund at .00619, Federal Lust at .001, Petroleum Product Tax at .010880, a Washington Hazardous Substance for the diesel at .035240, and then that tank wagon load fee at $585.
so can we do an academic exercise here? Can we say, let's just say, for example, what you paid the last time we got fuel, just for a gallon of diesel?
$3.427100.
27. So you paid $3.42 effectively for strictly for the gallon of gasoline.
Yep.
Gallon
That's
of gallon of diesel. Gallon of
Yes.
diesel. Now, if you add up all these fees, they don't come close to a .1. So let's see. So you add all these fees together, or you do it individually. So with the $3.42 per gallon, you have to add the .00619 fee, and if you add them all together, it doesn't. It barely comes up to 0.02%. Is that effectively true? If I'm doing my adding correctly?
Sorry, I will have to do that
No, that's
myself.
for
'Cause
gas.
I,
Yes, this is diesel. This is everything she gave me for diesel. So all these fees together
Don't amount to much.
don't amount to much, maybe another 2 or 3 cents per gallon. Is that correct?
I will be honest with you, I can't give you an answer on that right
Okay.
now in the moment.
Well,
but
I can
I don't
kin-
want to say yes or no and be
Sure,
wrong.
I can kind of do it in my head here. So let's just say, worst case, we're at $3.45 per gallon of diesel, with all these fees included,
Okay.
okay? And then what are we adding? Let's say we're adding 60 cents per gallon,
65.
65? So that brings us to $4.10 a gallon, effectively. Right? Somebody, I hope people are writing this down and making me, I'm doing this pencil and paper wise. Roughly $4.10. What's the price of fuel today?
$4.31.
Okay, and where did the other 21 cents worth of fees come?
So it's 76 cents is what the markup is. It's not 65.
It's 76 cents.
Yes.
Okay? So
And
there's,
then that-
so there's another dime.
The 342,710 does not include sales tax. So you have to add sales tax to that gallon.
So, and what's the sales tax?
9% currently.
What's 9% at $4.20? Who's got their calculator out?
I got it. 420.
421 times 9%. I mean, I hate for this,
It's 37 cents.
37 cents, so a price of fuel
38 cents.
should be 4.50. Wait, you said it's what, it's 37?
38.
38? So it should be 4.59 it would be, if all the numbers are accurate, so that's what we should be selling it for. Maybe we need to
Is
table
there,
this.
JJ,
with sales
what's the
tax.
discussion point you're trying to get to?
I'm trying
Are you just
to
checking
figure
the
out
numbers?
how we price it and whether we're making sufficient revenue at the 76 cents per gallon markup.
Yeah, so you'd have to include in there, okay, what are our costs?
What
both
is the cost
overhead
to
and
pump it?
Staffing
That's
costs
right.
to
Yeah.
provide the service, right?
That has always been the question here, is whether we're undercharging for fuel to try to attract people to come here, which is not a bad strategy. And I don't disagree with that strategy in any way. But are we making enough to cover our nuts, so to speak, in what it costs for you to send one of your temporary guys out there to deliver the fuel?
And I don't think we've ever calculated how much we're actually making in mortgage for the fuel discount either. 'Cause
Yeah.
that's a
Actually-
one night's mortgage, right?
Right.
Yes,
That's
and that was included when this fuel price discussion, how many people took advantage of the 20-cent discount and how much fuel they purchased.
Yeah, but that was all over the map too, because some of those people pumped, 1,000 gallons of fuel and got the discount. And some of them pumped,
Yeah, but the
$100
discount is
fuel.
only up to one night's mortgage,
Yeah, right,
right?
yeah.
So it-
But we don't know what.
Right,
that
right,
amounts
we
to.
don't. We're just trying to optimize,
Yeah.
we're not questioning the methodology,
We are.
well, a little bit, but we're questioning the fact is whether we make enough when you factor in, the time that the employees need to spend to deliver the fuel. So,
And we should also factor in, look at the amount of fuel we sold at the same time that we had the increase in transit mortgage. So they seem to rise and fall together.
Yeah.
So I know from personal experience that many people that I know have come here, they specifically overnight here because of that fuel. So we might want to look at that as, will we flatten that curve of less fuel, less tenant, if we increase our cost to come in line with other marinas?
Well, my thesis is I think we're making a very minimal amount of our fuel sales total. And so therefore, if you're giving away free mortgage to sell more fuel, you're giving away free mortgage for zero extra profit.
yeah, so the argument comes down to is whether we keep the fuel prices low, because we do buy it at significantly less than the other marinas, but perhaps we do away with the 20 cent a gallon. I think that the cheap or the inexpensive fuel is enough of a draw to keep bringing people here, regardless of the 20 cent, per gallon discount if you stay the night. Because our mortgage rates, our transient mortgage rates are very reasonable by other marinas comparison.
Yeah.
So I think what we're hoping to find is a way to optimize the fuel, our profitability in fuel by not necessarily raising the fuel price, but maybe reducing some of the 20-cent discount. That might help.
So is this something that's unique to our marina, or?
Yeah.
I've never seen it anywhere else. I don't know, have you?
No, I haven't.
It was something introduced by the MAC to
Yeah,
increase
I know.
people to come to the marina. I would say approximately
So at least
15 to,
Yeah. It was a long time
15
ago.
years
it was
ago?
a
Yeah,
long
it was a
time
long
ago.
time ago.
It was a long time ago.
Did it work back then?
Well, we don't know. That's the thing. It's never, we've never
So
really.
we didn't have a KPI set there
scrutinized
to
it,
say,
no.
that was a good direction or not?
I thank you for indulging me this. I think it was a good exercise for me personally. And I think if we're charging 76 cents above what we pay for the fuel, that should be enough
But
to,
But look at these numbers.
Yeah,
What
I know.
we're charging is 15% more than what our fuel costs us.
Yeah, but what-
I mean, that's what we're getting.
but what does everybody else make? There's not a great profit in gasoline and diesel sales.
I have no idea. I cannot speak for any other marina.
Yeah, I know for a fact that this is not a real high margin business. So, and I think maybe
Could we
14-15% may be pretty representative across the board.
Could we separate it into two separate discussions? I mean, I hear get rid of the mortgage discount.
Well, we're
and
not actually
pricing.
saying that, we want to look at that.
Oh, okay.
Again, that's a master fee schedule change,
Right.
so if we go that direction, it's
Right.
not gonna be instantaneous, just
Sure, we
FYI.
understand. Kathy, you've got your hand up. I see part of
I
it.
do.
There's all kinds of stuff on the
I
screen.
think we
in
missed,
front of us.
I know, it's so fussy.
Uh-oh. She's on the Roach Harbor Wi-Fi, I bet.
Yeah, I am. I think we may have missed one, calculating in any cost the city, requires us to pay for, accounting and whatever all we have to pay per gallon. We need to apply that.
I don't think there's.
No, that's
a-
included in the sales
That's
tax.
included in the sales tax, right?
Yeah.
It is? Okay, good.
No.
Well, but,
So it might be another cent or two.
well, there might be, yeah, I mean,
We're talking about the.
well, this 459 price did include the sales tax, so, but anyway, it was kind of an interesting exercise on my part, but I think it's gonna require more discussion, Elise, and we'll try to figure out what, I will try personally to try to figure out what the margins are, what people are making in margin on gasoline and diesel and in other marinas. People who pump roughly the same amount of fuel that we do. And I can think of a few places that might do that. Port Orchard, Brownsville, they're gonna pump probably similar amounts than we do. I'll look into that, and I'll work with Elise and Brian, and I'll let them know what I find, and we'll see where we go from there. And if we have to revisit this, we certainly will. Is that good with everybody?
Yeah, and keep in mind also, part of our requirements for fee adjustments is we have to do a rate study.
Right.
And we can also incorporate looking at the market for fuel prices as well in that.
Well, I wouldn't advocate that we be the same as everybody else because we have an advantage. And, and I think that's important. I think people do come to Oak Harbor and they buy fuel here because it is less expensive. And I think, as long as we're making money on selling it and not losing money selling it. So I don't think we're losing any money, but, we'll take a look at what everybody else's margins are. And I'll see what I can get back to everybody. Okay, let's move on. Community involvement ideas. I know we have that harbor harvest.
At the harbor. That was
Harvest
gonna
at
be
the
part
harbor.
of my harbor master update, but since we're talking about community involvement, we did just have the fishing derby about 3 weeks ago, had 50 kids show up. It was a really fun experience for me. I got to just stand back and enjoy all the kids. Didn't have to be hands-on at all because VFW took care of all of that. And I will tell you, one kid caught his first fish and then won a bike in the raffle. So I have a feeling he will be disappointed the next time he catches a fish and doesn't win a bike, but he may be a fisherman for life. The harvest at the harbor, we're getting really excited for that event. We're going to have boat tours again, similar to the birthday party that was held last September. And that was the big input we got from the community is they want to see the marina open to them annually. And while it's open 7 days a week, 7 a.m. to 6 o'clock, they may not realize that. So we're going to try to invite them down there for fun things. Not only will there be the boat tours, there's going to be a scavenger hunt that I will work on making more non-marina people friendly. Apparently I made it a little too difficult last year, so I will work on that. The Recreation Department and Parks Department are also going to be partnering with us in this event. Parks is going to bring down one of their tractors, put it in Catalina Park, and make it a photo opportunity with the marina as the background. And then Recreation is going to bring a craft. I don't know if she had officially decided which one. She's got lots of fall crafts up her sleeves apparently, and was excited to bring out at least one or two. There's also going to be a rain gutter regatta again, where the kids can build their own boat. Then we'll have someone timing it. They race it down a rain gutter, and the fastest boat each hour is going to win a prize as well. There's going to be the gumbo food truck, the hot dog food truck, I think are the only two at this time confirmed, but there will be some food trucks on the property for people to come out and enjoy. Currently, it's just 11 to 2, but as we look to continue this annually, we'll expand those hours as we see fit. Other community involvements, I am looking for input on how we can get the community down there, how they can enjoy the facility. With the B&O tax passing, I think the community is going to look to us to open our doors and encourage them to come see us more. So I would like input on what you guys think we might be able to do or how we can achieve that. Kathy's got her hand raised.
Do you want that now?
If you have some now, fantastic. If you don't, I'd like for you guys to come back next meeting with some brilliant brainstorming ideas. And they don't have to be brilliant for that matter. I'm good with any brainstorming ideas.
I think that we could definitely have, not exactly a fishing derby, but we could have fishing days with somebody who knows how to fish, hanging around and helping kids.
You did mention fishing birthday parties to me. I have reached out to the Whigby Island Puget Sound Angler Group, and they are actually interested in partnering with the marina to help host like a fishing birthday party on FDOC. They would just like a little more structure on what's required from them.
Oh, we can work that up, Elise. That's easy to figure out. So the idea behind that is people go to Chuck E. Cheese and spend hundreds of dollars for birthday parties. And they could come to the marina and have a fishing birthday party, and it would be really fun. And they'd like it. They could, if we could find somebody who was willing, this is far-fetched, willing to partner and make themselves available during crab seasons, they would pay a fee to get to go out with you on your boat and crab with you. And they would have to have a crab license. And then they would get, some of the crab meat. One or two pieces of crab. And I think people would pay to do that. They would love that experience. And it's all in how you market it.
Yeah, the only part about that is charging a fee means that the boat operator would legally have to have a Coast Guard license. So, so that probably wouldn't work, but if people want to do that on a volunteer basis, it might be okay.
We did something fun in Anacortes one time, down at the port there. They have soapbox races where, it was ahead of time. All the kids built their own little race boxes, and it was a lot of fun.
Yeah, that is always a lot of fun, but the water is so cold. It really is. I know. It's interesting. Well, okay, that sounds very cool. And that was what day?
The Harvest at the Harbor is September 13th.
September 13th.
11 a.m. to 2 p.m. Okay. And if you want to help volunteer, please, we'll be happy to take you and put you to work. The marina is going to have hats and mugs for sale as well. the little bit of swag we do have, we're gonna have that for sale if in case somebody wanted to pick some up while they're there. But yeah,
Okay, very cool.
looking forward.
So I am contacting every person who has their business sign hanging around the marina to invite them to have a table at that festival. And they can do what they want with their table. I would hope they do something fun, but, maybe they would just promote their business. It doesn't matter. It generates more excitement and gets more people down there. So we will need a volunteer, probably from the commission, to staff the marina's table. So that there's somebody there who can speak for questions about how the marina works or what happens or something. And that would, it doesn't have to be a staff person. And in fact, probably wouldn't be a good use of staff time, but one of us could do it.
All good ideas. It's, and there's a joke, I tell people I have 99 ideas every single day, and my wife tells me none of them are any good. So, I just keep having lots of ideas, which isn't a bad thing. Let's move on. Subcommittee updates. I know Gabe was not here, and he had you want to give that update on the?
Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
So we talked about the small boat storage. I have the agreement that legal wrote up for us for that particular storage. The only thing Gabe and I came up with on that one is that we could inventory them similar to the fence line, where we add our own identifying tag to the trailer, or kayaks normally have a handle at the bow or the stern where we could add that tag that's not going to make any difference when they're using their vessel. I will have to go to council, have that master fee schedule adjusted. We are proposing a $50 fee for that. And I do have a copy of the quote that I can email you guys as well, so you can see what the fencing would run us. The first month, we're looking at $600. After that, it goes to $60 a month. So 2 vessels in that pays for itself. We would need to get some signage designed and ready to go for that. I'm hoping we can open that up November timeframe. I originally said October. That may be way too soon, considering we're halfway through August at the end of this week, and I realize that's coming so close. Kayak storage, Gabe and I talked about it. What we're leaning towards initially is we're gonna buy a rack that will hold 4 kayaks. Found them online for about $520. And then we were going to talk with Grant about having the engineering department see if they could build one that's better for cheaper. Give them a project that's more along the engineering line, or so Gabe told me. I'm not an engineer. I can't tell you if that's actually an engineer line. And then I did mention to him that we'll have to relocate the few 2 RVs and 1 boat trailer that's there at the end of Building 3 where we're proposing to put this. Mentioned the harvest at the harbor for him, and then just some more community education and spreading the word. Those were the big things. The one input Gabe did give me was about special event permits, and I will discuss that with city staff. He mentioned any special events coming through the marina that I would at least see the event, since I'm the one that tends to work hand in hand with the people doing the events at the marina anyways.
Was there a long-term project subcommittee update as well?
Yes, there was.
Okay, well, let's move on to that.
As to say, Byron,
Okay.
Marina, or Kathy were all 3 present at that meeting,
good.
if one of you would like to give that update.
Yeah, number one, I think everybody knows that the council this week did pass the B&O tax, and with that, they kind of confirmed that we're going to go ahead with the entire dredging project, the full meal deal. And they also talked about replacement. I don't think it was really settled whether it's replacement or repair of the breakwater, but then we really don't know what we're talking about with either one because we have no plans on that anyway. Our engineering firm has, as of last meeting, we were told that we had to come up with a coastal evaluation plan that was going to cost us about $50,000 before they could determine what was going to happen with the breakwater, but apparently they no longer say that's required. From what, and Mr. Goldman has given some great scenarios as far as how the dredging and breakwater situation is going to affect, well, how the B&O tax and everything else is going to be affected, is going to affect those projects. And it appears, at least as far as I can tell, that with the B&O tax as passed and with the bonding authority that we would have from that, we can probably, the dredging is probably pretty much covered. Is that what you think?
So I know they were looking at full dredge, breakwater replacement, and saving for a 10-year maintenance dredge was the
that's right,
direction
yeah,
they were headed. With the B&O, they were going to add additional utility tax, increase the dredge fee, and apply for lodging tax money as well.
Yeah, they decided not to do the utility tax, didn't they? I thought.
So I don't know the true answer to that question at this moment.
Okay.
I do know city staff is meeting on Wednesday to move forward with the other funding sources that we need to accomplish all three of our goals. So the B&O tax has already gone through, but the utility tax requires going back to council, increasing the dredge fee an additional 87 cents per foot. Has to go back to council because that's a master fee schedule adjustment. And the application for the lodging tax funding also has to go back to council because of the amount. And looks like our XO, Ms. Arms, can speak to that.
I think the idea was, what we're going to do is try to get the LTAC funding, and then we probably wouldn't do the utility tax, because nobody's happy with that. If we don't get it, yes, the utility tax will sit there, because that's all the funding that we're looking at for that.
And that apparently is going to cover the bonding necessary for the dredge project.
We hope it will all cover. We'll see what happens when we're going to rebond. We're looking at some other things coming up, so we'll see. Hopefully it'll be enough. I mean, it would have been nicer to start sooner, but we didn't, and so now it's all that shuffle to go figure out where we are.
And so that still leaves the breakwater really up in the air. And the council is apparently on board with doing something there, but I don't think we've really, number one, we have no plans as to what, what replacement or what repair is going to be, no concrete plans. And despite the fact that our engineering firm has told us many times that our current breakwater is a rather poor design and not designed for this area, the option of breakwater replacement, according to our engineering firm, would be to replace the existing breakwater with the same design.
Yeah, so let me clarify that. That got brought up during the council meeting as well, and there's a couple of things that we need to correct from that. So one, as far as the comments on the breakwater, they're talking specifically about that specific floating dock breakwater wave attenuation design. They would replace it with a floating dock breakwater. It just would be a different design of that.
Okay.
So
that
makes a lot more sense.
It does make a lot more
because
sense.
for over 3 years, they were telling us that that's the wrong design. out there.
So
Yeah, there's many types of floating breakdowns.
Yeah,
You bet.
sure.
I have a question. Are you done with that? Related to this, the grants?
So we should have one grant application in. It's due on September 10th. We're working on collecting letters of support from different representatives, community members, marina users. We have reached out to other marinas who have received this grant to see if we could see what their application looks like. It's supposed to be available on the MARAD website. Unfortunately, we were having issues trying to find those examples. We only found one. So we are leaning into that one and creating that. Should hear back at the end of this month about the oil spill response grant we applied for a new marina workboat. That should be coming up by the end of this month. And then the EDA grant, or Economic Development Grant, is a rolling one. There's no set deadline, but our goal is to have that in, if I remember correctly, by November, so that we could be included into that one. And that one, we are looking to apply for about $4 million. The Port Infrastructure Grant, we're looking to apply for about $11 million.
So, quick question. Where does that put the initiative for port?
As far as I know, it's still rolling. The city council did mention that they really want people to look into a port district. As elected officials, they cannot do so. You, as a Marina Advisory Commission, in a Marina Advisory Commission position, cannot, but you, as a average citizen, can. I, as a city employee, cannot push anything forward on a port district except teach you what a port district is. I will say there is a meeting coming up in Coupeville on August 27th, 9 a.m. Eric Fitch with Washington Public Ports Association is speaking on what a port is, what a port does, what a port means, and knows that there may be people from Oak Harbor that want to talk to him when the meeting's over. He is welcoming you to come, ask your questions, and get the ball rolling.
Why is Coupeville having this meeting?
It is not
They already-
Coupeville having the meeting. It is the Council of Governments, which is Port of Coupeville, Port of South Whigby, City of Oak Harbor, City of Coupeville, City of Freeland, City of Langley, Island County Commissioners.
They all have ports except for us. Everybody you just mentioned is part
Yes.
of a port district.
But their cities are also going to be there. It's just a normal meeting that happens. It just happens to be talking about a port this time.
Okay.
The Port of South Whigby is who invited Eric to come speak at this meeting.
So my,
Where's it at? You going to be at the,
I can give you an exact address. I do not want to misquote it at this time. If you
Okay.
want it, please come see me. I will give you, I've even got it down to the room number.
okay.
so I guess my comments about this are, I think we're all in favor of there being a Port of North Whidbey or a Port of Oak Harbor or however it's named. We can't do anything because in order to create this port district, we'd have to create a committee to be able to do that and go out and get the signatures required. We can't do that unless the city says, yes, you can go ahead and do what you need to do to get a port district on a ballot. Am I missing something?
I didn't realize you needed the city's blessing.
It doesn't make any sense for a committee to form a committee to go out and get signatures to get an initiative put on the ballot if the city of Oak Harbor, isn't in favor of giving up the marina or creating the port district, Brian.
Well, those are two separate issues. So it's the county that governs the creation of the port district.
Right?
So we need 10% of the voters from the last election to submit a petition for that. For the creation of a new one, it's a little different with an expansion of the existing port district if we were to do that with Coupeville. As far as the transfer of assets to a port district once that's created, it's a little more complicated. Yes, that would include the city, but as far as the creation of a port district, it's not something that city council has to approve.
Okay. I gotcha. So by all rights, we could go out as private citizens and create a committee to start the process to become a port district with the same boundaries as the Oak Harbor School District.
Yes,
Okay?
hence why I keep mentioning this meeting.
Okay. Okay. All right, Byron, do you have anything?
Oh, just what, I've actually contemplated, we could attend, any of us could attend one of the Coopville Port Board meetings.
Right.
It happened twice a month. And I think that might I think there needs to be some dialogue between, somebody up here and the Coopville
Well, we would
board
hope.
to see if there's any interest.
Right. And I think Brian might be able to add some clarity to that. Whether, has there been any discussion, and at what level, of including the marina in the Port of Coopville?
The city administration has tried to schedule a meeting with the Port of Coopville, and they have not taken us up on that offer yet.
Okay. Got it. Yes, Councilmember Arms.
We have been discussing the port, so when we did the B&O, that was the idea that we knew that we're gonna need something more future down the line. We, like she said, we can't do it, we are pushing it, we said we want to do that avenue, and it's something we need to start soon, so we know where we stand.
Okay. Okay, let's move on. Let's go ahead with the harbor master updates. I know you've been talking a lot, Elise. If you have anything more to say, let's do it now.
I would say that our crew at the marina is amazing, hardworking, and what's keeping that place afloat.
You bet.
I appreciate each and every one of them. And we have our seasonals. The first one will be leaving September 15th, and then the final two leave on September 29th. So we are trying to accomplish as much as possible while we have as many bodies as possible. Other than that, it has been a very busy and productive season so far.
Okay, very good. Okay, let's move on to Marina Advisory Commission comments. Comments from any of our commissioners? No? I have one. I always seem to have one. I have to echo with what the harbor master just said. I think the marina looks great. I walk the marina. I don't do it as much as I should, but I tend to walk the docks, say hello to people. My wife says I will talk to anyone, and she's probably right. But I like, the marina looks good, for as old as it is. It's 50 years old. I'm not crazy about some of the leans. I think I'm getting vertigo as I get older, but then I realize I'm at the marina.
Go walk Sea Dock. We did just fix a lean.
Did you really? Good.
We did.
Good. But I think the crew is amazing. I echo what Elise says. I think we have some real jewels that work at that marina, and God bless them. They work so hard, we all owe it to ourselves to go down there and say thank you to them when you see them on the dock, because they're amazing. That's all. Byron, do you have a comment?
Well, I was just going to say, somehow a bunch of carts have materialized after so long of having one or two carts on the dock there. There now is a lot of them. And what's going to happen with those new carts that we bought? Are they...
Working with the purchasing agent, we are in a standstill at the moment.
Oh, okay.
Yep, I am working behind the scenes on figuring all that out. And anytime one of those older carts get damaged, it's kind of a scavenger hunt for the crew. The one that finds it gets the last cookie that's in the shop, and then it gets to be repaired, and it's a fun challenge for everyone.
Are those new dock carts going back?
The new dock carts, and one of the downfalls of shopping online, is they don't tell you all the information. Because you and I looked at it 4 different times. The purchasing agent looked at it 3 different times.
They should have fit.
They should have fit. The tub size fits, but you can't really push that plastic tub around without wheels. So, that's where we are right now.
But are they going to go back?
But they do fit all the docks
Except
for B.
A and B?
A and B and
A,
D.
B, and D.
A, B, and
So
D.
Yeah.
half of the docks don't work, and
Yeah.
we all know that if you put a sign that says C, E, and F only, they're only gonna be on A, B, and D. So it's not gonna be worth,
Well,
Power
right now,
pedestal
there's
damage.
no paucity of dock carts, even during the height of the crabbing season. So
Nope, it's looking good.
It's a pleasure when you come back and you've got to offload, a month of stuff from your boat, that there's a cart there. Yep. Okay, yes, Louis?
I was going to comment, once it went through, that this is the first meeting in over a year we haven't talked about dock carts, and then you ruined it.
So do you remember that we have an increase in transit mortgage and all of the crab people are here? Well, that's where the carts all just came back, that's all. Yeah, they were out on the boats and came back, that's all.
Okay, the next item is determination of future agenda items. I think we all have our own opinions, and I think, let's make sure we get these agenda items to Elise as soon as possible. As soon as they come to your brain, write them down and call Elise and get
can
them
I
on
give you
there.
a deadline of 2 weeks,
No.
please?
Well,
Because Kim gives me a deadline, and then I have to say, oh, sorry, that's a great idea, but we can't talk about
well,
it.
let's do everything we can to get these to Elise, and then eventually the gatekeeper, Kim, who controls everything, as soon as we possibly can. And our next meeting is going to be 8 September. Does anybody have anything else that we need to discuss today?